news happening around the world, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is expected to implement a requirement for people to wear face coverings in shops or else face penalties. Coronavirus outbreaks in California caused another round of shutdowns of bars and entertainment districts, and more Ohio cities began enforcing mask requirements, including Athens, Toledo, and Akron. Is Mansfield-Richland County next? Good evening and welcome to the OH Report. I'm Don Bryant, and this is your daily intelligence brief. Mansfield City Schools announced their digital program for the 2020-21 school year. Mansfield City Schools will offer multiple learning options, a Choose Your Path program that includes classroom learning, career tech, and the new online curricular program called the Tiger Digital Academy. The Tiger Digital Academy for grades K through 12 will offer one-on-one certified teacher support, internet access if needed, tech support, virtual labs, social and emotional counseling services, and more. Each student enrolled receives a Chromebook and other services and benefits. Breakfast and lunch will also be available at no cost. To register online at mansfieldschools.org or by calling 419-525-6400. In local sports news, joining me in the studio is Storm and Garrett with a preview of what's coming up on the OH Report.
Thanks, Donnie. We were at Northmore High School this morning trying to beat the heat. Garrett, how did the guys look out there?
You know, Northmore lost a lot of seniors last year. They got a tough schedule coming up with Bucyrus and Seneca East. But, I mean, there was a good group of guys out there, a lot of participants, so it looks like they're putting in the off-season grind.
Very insightful comments, Garrett. We're going to be at Mapleton High School visiting their girls' soccer team, kicking it with them for a while, so make sure to tune in then. That's all for Storm and Garrett. Back to you, Donnie.
Thanks, guys. In the headlines, President Trump commutes his friend Roger Stone. Stone was convicted for lying to Congress and witness tampering in the Mueller probe. On February 20th, the longtime Republican operative was sentenced to 40 months in prison. The president's move came just days before Stone was expected to report to prison on July 14th. The conviction will remain on Stone's record for now, but he will not have to serve his 3-year prison term. The White House issued this statement on Friday, and just to highlight parts of this, the statement reads, Roger Stone is a victim of the Russia hoax that the left and its allies in the media perpetuated for years in an attempt to undermine the Trump administration with Russia. Such collusion was never anything other than a fantasy of partisans unable to accept the result of the 2016 election. But in looking at the last part of the statement, Mr. Stone would be put at serious medical risk in prison. And it goes on to say, Roger Stone has already suffered greatly, and he was treated very unfairly. I'm sure we all feel very sorry for Mr. Stone, maybe, but really curious to know what medical risks are they talking about. Meanwhile, former special counsel Robert Mueller came out of hiatus to sharply defend his investigation into ties between Russia and Donald Trump's 2016 campaign, writing an entire opinion piece on Saturday for the Washington Post, where he reasserted that Roger Stone remains a convicted felon, despite the president's decision to grant him clemency. A Utah Senator, Mitt Romney, calls Trump a corrupt president in a statement saying, unprecedented historic corruption. An American president commuted the sentence of a person convicted by jury. He's talking about Roger Stone. Romney was the lone Republican to vote to convict Trump in his impeachment trial in the Senate and has openly criticized Trump in ways that his fellow Republicans have avoided. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, says Confederates are traitors. Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley last week condemned Confederate leaders as traitors and said he supports a review of Army bases named after those who fought against the Union, a viewpoint that puts him at odds with President Trump. In a statement, the general said, "The American Civil War was an act of treason at the time against the Union, against the Stars and Stripes, against the U.S. Constitution." And those officers turned their backs on their oath. Now, some have a different view of that. Some think it's heritage, others think it's hate, said the general. President Donald Trump has threatened to veto any defense policy legislation that changes the names of the bases. A woman was shot in the head with a rubber bullet. A peaceful protester in Oregon, armed with only a music speaker, was shot in the head with a rubber bullet and severely injured by federal agents deployed by President Trump. The disturbing incident happened across the street from a federal courthouse in Portland during a demonstration against police brutality and racism on Saturday. The shooting was widely condemned by local and state officials who shifted blame onto President Trump after he sent federal agents to quell the protests without their consent. And now, my friends, it's time. It's time for political theater. Let's get ready to go. Yesterday, we reviewed the major party candidates, Joe Biden and Mr. Donald Trump, Democrat and Republican. But let's be fair. Let's give others a chance. Today, it's Libertarian time. So let's check out this ad from the Libertarian Party. Let's go.
Something has to change. Every day, we are witnessing brutality on an unimaginable scale. Every day, we are witnessing systemic racism that many of us have been told about, but didn't want to believe was real. Every day, people are being victimized, and we feel powerless. We are filled with anger, fear, rage. But it doesn't have to be this way. The police should make us feel safe, not scared, relieved, not resentful. Now is the time for change, and Joe Jorgensen and I have a plan to bring that change. End qualified immunity. End the militarization of the police. End civil asset forfeiture. End no-knock raids. End the war on drugs. End institutional racism. Make our justice system a system of actual justice. Now, more than ever, is the time to reject and disrupt the status quo. Now is the time to heal. I'm Spike Cohen, and you are the power.
My friends, that is political theater at its finest, right? What did you think about that ad? Third-party candidates. What's your opinion on that? Share your opinions right here on the OH Report. Jo Jorgensen is the Libertarian presidential candidate. She is a senior lecturer at Clemson University. Are you voting for the Libertarians? Let us know. And that concludes tonight's Intelligence Brief. Keep it right here at the OH Report, your new hub for sports, news, politics, and more. Tune in every weekday here on Facebook and YouTube for even more updates. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.